Long before the Prophet ﷺ entered Medina, the city was drowning in wounds. Two tribes, Aus and Khazraj, locked in wars that lasted generations. Brothers turned against brothers, friends buried friends, and every victory only opened the door for another revenge. The greatest of those wars was the Battle of Bu'ath, a day of fire and hatred, when blood soaked the valleys of Medina, when leaders fell, when no heart remained untouched. After this, the people were exhausted.
How many more sons must we bury, Yaqub? The earth of Yathrib is full. It cannot drink any more blood.
If we stop now, the Aus will slaughter us in our sleep.
If we don't stop, there will be no one left to sleep.
They were tired of funerals, tired of fear, tired of living on the edge of another war. And what does a broken city need? A leader, a unifier, someone whose voice could silence swords. In those quiet months after Bu'ath, eyes turned to Abdullah ibn Ubayy. But there was a deeper reason.
Why him?
He is Khazraj. Why should an Aus man bow to a Khazraj king?
Look at your own sword, brother. It is stained with my cousin's blood, and mine is stained with yours.
But Ibn Ubayy?
During Bu'ath, he kept his sword in its sheath. He is the only man left whose hands are clean. He is the only one we can both trust.
He was the only man both sides could accept. Some say only the crown remained. Just one ceremony, and he would become the ruler of Medina.
Have you seen the jewelers? They are fashioning a crown.
Let them make it heavy. Perhaps it will weigh down the madness of this city.
And Abdullah ibn Ubayy felt it, the city turning toward him, the tribes leaning on him, the throne inching closer. His pride grew, his name spread, his seat of power seemed certain. But while Ibn Ubayy prepared for his crown, the people of Medina were haunted by a different kind of power. Medina was not just a city of Arabs, it was shared with powerful Jewish tribes. The Arabs worshipped idols, but the Jews had books, they had ancient knowledge, and they used it as a weapon.
You mock our gods again?
Your gods are stone and silence. Enjoy your time, Arab. It is ending.
What is that supposed to mean?
It is written, a prophet is rising, and when he comes to us, we will march behind him, and we will wipe you out.
These words stayed in the hearts of the Aus and Khazraj. They knew a great leader was coming, so when news arrived from Makkah about a man claiming to be the messenger of Allah, the Khazraj didn't just ignore it. At a Kaaba, under the cover of night, 6 men from Medina sat with the Prophet ﷺ. They listened, and as he spoke, they didn't look at him with confusion. They looked at him with recognition.
By the stars, do you hear his words?
He speaks of the one God. He speaks of the judgment.
This is him. This is the one the Jews have been threatening us with.
If they find him first, we are finished. We cannot let them get to him.
Then we must be the ones to stand by his side first.
They realized the Jews had been waiting for him, and if they turned away now, their enemies might accept him first. So they pledged their loyalty, and they invited him to Medina. When the Prophet ﷺ finally entered Medina, everything changed. The same tribes that once prepared to crown Ibn Ubayy now opened their arms for the messenger of Allah.
My lord, the people, they are abandoning the square.
Where are they going?
To the outskirts. The man from Mecca has arrived. They say he is the light of the city. They throw away a king for a refugee. I united them when they were tearing each other apart, and now they run to a stranger.
Power that seemed certain for Ibn Ubayy was gone in a single moment, like dust blown from a hand. The man who almost became king now had to stand behind the Prophet ﷺ, and in his heart something cracked. This was the birth of his jealousy and the beginning of hypocrisy in Medina. For Abdullah ibn Ubayy, every takbir, every cheer from the crowd felt like a slap. It was a reminder of the title he had lost, a reminder of the throne he had lost, the crown that slipped from his hands, the power that vanished the moment the Prophet ﷺ walked into the city. He watched his own tribesmen, people who had sworn to die for him, now sitting at the feet of the Prophet ﷺ. He realized quickly, if he stood against this wave, he would drown, so he decided to swim with it.
The whole city has turned, Ibn Ubayy. If we don't join them, we will be outcasts in our own streets.
You are right. We cannot fight him from the outside. He is too strong now. So, we submit?
No, we do not submit. We pretend. We will say the words. We will pray the prayers. We will enter their circle so we can break it from the inside.
So, the man who wanted to be king put on a mask. He walked into the masjid. He stood before the Prophet ﷺ, and he declared his Islam. To the outside world, it looked like a victory for the faith. But for those who looked closely, something was missing.
Look at him. He sits in the front row every Friday. He nods at every word.
He nods, but his eyes don't believe.
Have you noticed?
What? When the Prophet speaks of sacrifice, Ibn Ubayy looks at his wealth. And when the Prophet speaks of unity, Ibn Ubayy looks at his clan.
He hid his hatred behind prayer. He hid his pride behind silence. But he didn't stay idle. He knew he couldn't attack the Prophet ﷺ directly, so he attacked the unity of the Muslims. He looked for the cracks between the Muhājirūn, the immigrants from Makkah, and the Anṣār, the locals of Medina, and quietly he began to pour poison into those cracks. In the corners of the city, away from the masjid, his tone changed.
Look at our city. Just look at it. We gave these strangers refuge. We shared our homes. We shared our food.
We did it for the sake of Allah.
And how do they repay you? They take the lead in your councils. They decide the future of your children. Since when did the lords of Medina become servants to the runaways of Makkah?
He didn't shout. He didn't rebel. He simply whispered. He made the Anṣār feel used. He made the locals feel like strangers in their own land.
Ibn Ubayy has a point. Why are the Quraysh always in the front?
Careful, that is dangerous talk.
Is it? Or is it the truth we are too afraid to speak?
The seeds were planted. The tension was rising. Ibn Ubayy sat back and watched, waiting for the perfect moment to break their spirit. He didn't want a small victory. He wanted a disaster. He wanted to prove that without him, Muhammad ﷺ could not protect the city. And soon the horizon turned dark. The armies of Makkah were marching for revenge. War was coming to the doorstep of Medina. And this time, Ibn Ubayy wouldn't just whisper in the dark. He prepared to make a move that would shake the very foundations of the Muslim army. The time for secrets was over. The great betrayal was about to begin. The waiting was over. It was Shawwal, the third year of Hijrah. The army of Quraysh was back, and this time they didn't come to talk. 3,000 men, 3,000 spears, marching to wipe Medina off the map. The Prophet ﷺ gathered the council. The question was simple. Do we go out to meet them, or do we stay and defend the city?
O Messenger of Allah, we should stay in Medina. If they enter, we destroy them here. But we must not go out.
It was a sound strategy. The Prophet ﷺ initially agreed. But then the lion stood up. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib and the young men who had missed the glory of Badr. Their blood was hot. They could not bear to hide behind walls.
By the one who revealed the book to you, I will not taste food today until I fight them outside the city with my sword.
The majority of the council roared in agreement. The Prophet ﷺ himself had wished to remain within the city's walls, but when he saw the courage of the young companions and the strength of the majority, he honored their voice. He went into his home and came out wearing his armor.
He put on his armor?
Yes, we march to Uhud.
He listens to the boys and ignores me? He obeys them and disobeys me?
To Ibn Ubayy, this was not just a strategy, it was an insult. He marched with the army, but his mind was already working. He wouldn't just complain, he would teach them a lesson. Just before they reached the mountain of Uhud, at a place called Ash-Short, Ibn Ubayy pulled the reins. He turned to his people. He used the rejected advice as his weapon.
Why should we kill ourselves here? I will not fight a losing battle.
He didn't just leave alone. He took the doubt with him.
Where are they going?
The Khazraj are turning back.
Ibn Ubayy is leaving.
One by one, then 10 by 10, then hundreds. 300 men, 1/3 of the Muslim army, turned their backs on the Prophet ﷺ.
They left us. Now? With the enemy in sight? Let them go.
The filth has separated itself from the pure.
The Muslim army collapsed from 1,000 to 700. The flank was exposed. Ibn Ubayy rode back to Medina, safe and smug. He wanted the Prophet ﷺ to come back defeated, so he could say, "I told you so." He thought he had destroyed the army. He thought this was his masterstroke. But he forgot one thing. Victory does not come from numbers, and betrayal only exposes the traitor. He failed on the battlefield, so where does a fallen leader go when the light burns him? He retreats into the shadows. If he couldn't destroy the Prophet ﷺ alone, who could help him? Who else in Medina felt ignored? Who else had lost their power? Jad ibn Qais, Muhatib ibn Qushayr, Rifah ibn Zayd. Men who smiled in the day, and plotted at night. But even they were afraid.
How long can we keep this up, Abdullah? The people love him. Every day they grow stronger. Do you really think we can stop a tide like this?
Do you want to be servants in your own city, Jad? Is that what you want for your sons?
No,
But what can we do?
we have no army.
We don't need an army. We have neighbors who do.
Why should we fight when we can let the Banu Nadir do it for us?
The Banu Nadir, one of the powerful Jewish tribes of Medina. They had broken their treaty. They had plotted against the Prophet ﷺ life, and now they faced expulsion. They were ready to leave. They knew they couldn't win. But then a question arrived in the night. A message from Ibn Ubayy.
Why do you pack your bags, my lord? Why do you surrender when you have friends?
Friends. Who in Medina dares to stand against Muhammad now?
Abdullah ibn Ubayy, he asks you, why leave your homes? He promises you, if you fight, we fight with you. And he swears, if you go, we go with you.
Can we trust him? A man who betrays his own prophet?
What choice do we have? If we leave, we lose everything. If we stay, maybe he speaks the truth.
They asked the wrong question. They asked, can we trust him, when they should have asked, does he care about us? Because of his promise, they locked their gates. They defied the Prophet ﷺ. They waited.
Where are the 2,000 men? Where is Jad? Where is Rifa'ah? Did he not swear by God he would come?
He swore, my lord. But look at the horizon. Is there anyone coming to save us?
The horizon was empty. No army, no help, no Ibn Ubayy. The Banu Nadir surrendered. They were expelled from the city forever.
You let them fall, Abdullah. If we didn't help them, who will ever trust us again?
Trust? Who said anything about trust, Rifa'ah? They were just wood for the fire.
He sacrificed an entire tribe just to test the waters. But the question remained. He had whispered to the Jews, he had whispered to the Quraysh, but when would he speak his hatred out loud? When would the mask finally fall? Now you might ask, didn't he already expose himself at Uhud? Yes, but at Uhud he had an excuse. He told the people, I only left because they ignored my advice. He hid his hatred behind strategy, but that excuse was wearing thin. The darkness in his heart was boiling over. He was done with excuses. He was about to say words that could never be taken back. Words that would challenge the Prophet ﷺ directly. And he would find his moment, not in a great war, but in a simple fight over water. The expedition was over. The Muslims had won, but the march back home was long, hot, and exhausting. And in moments like these, when men are tired and thirsty, the devil whispers the loudest. Abdullah ibn Ubayy was waiting for just such a moment. It started with nothing. A servant of Ummah, a Muhājir, and a man from the Khazraj, an Anṣār, fighting over a bucket.
Step back! That water is mine!
You push me in my own land? Oh, Anṣār, stand with me!
A shove turned into a punch turned into a scream. Suddenly, swords were drawn, the Anṣār on one side, the Muhājirūn on the other.
Do you see? We shared our homes with them, and now they press against us at our own wells.
The words were chosen carefully, calm, bitter, designed to reopen old wounds.
We gave refuge and wealth to them, and now they turn against us.
The crowd fell silent. a sentence meant to poison the heart and divide a city, but he wasn't finished.
Listen to me. When we return to Medina, the more honorable will expel the more abased.
He thought he was safe, but he missed one pair of eyes. Zayd ibn Arqam, a teenager. He didn't see a leader. He saw a traitor.
By Allah, you are the abased one, and the Prophet ﷺ is the honorable one.
Be still, boy. I was merely speaking lightly.
But it was too late. The boy ran straight to the Prophet ﷺ. When the news reached the tent, the air turned cold. Umar ibn Khattab could not contain his rage.
O Messenger of Allah, allow me to end this matter. He speaks against you openly.
Logic said, kill him. Any other king would have executed him on the spot. But the Prophet ﷺ refused. He looked at Umar and gave a reply that saved the city from civil war. He told Omar, no, if we kill him, the people will say Muhammad kills his own companions. He would not give Ibn Ubayy the victory of becoming a martyr. Instead, the Prophet ﷺ ordered the army to march immediately. They marched through the heat. They marched until they were too tired to fight, too tired to argue. The Prophet ﷺ silenced the chaos with wisdom, but the matter was not finished. The traitor had spoken his lies on the earth. But he forgot that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears every whisper, and from above the 7 heavens, the verdict was about to descend. The army returned to Medina. The dust settled, but the words of treason were still hanging in the air. The rumors spread from house to house. Did he really say it? Did he really threaten the Prophet ﷺ? Abdullah ibn Ubayy knew he was in danger. He knew that if this charge stuck, he was finished. So he did what he always did. He used the name of Allah as a shield. He came to the Prophet ﷺ, not to apologize, but to deny. He stood tall, looking down at young Zayd ibn Arqam.
By Allah, I never said such things. The boy is confused. The boy is lying.
He swore, he made oaths. He used his gray hair and his status to crush the word of a teenager. And the people, they hesitated. They looked at the powerful chief, and they looked at the young boy, and sadly, they chose the chief.
Why did you do this, Zayd? You made the chief of Khazraj hate us.
For what? For a lie?
I did not lie. By Allah, my ears heard him. I spoke the truth.
But no one believed him. Zayd stayed in his house, ashamed, scared. He had no witness but Allah. He sat in the dark, waiting for the Prophet ﷺ to punish him for slander. But Allah does not abandon the truthful. Suddenly, in the gathering of the Prophet ﷺ, the air changed. The companions went silent. They saw the sweat appear on the Prophet ﷺ forehead. They felt the weight of the divine presence. The heavens were opening, and Jibreel alayhi salam was bringing the answer. The Prophet ﷺ lifted his head. He smiled. He didn't need witnesses anymore. He recited the new verses of Surah Al-Munafiqun.
إذا جاءك المنافقون قالوا نشهد إنك لرسول الله والله يعلم إنك لرسوله والله يشهد إن المنافقين لكاذبون.
Allah exposed their secrets. He exposed their oaths as lies. And then he repeated the very words Ibn Ubayy had said at the well. They say, if we return to Medina, the more honorable will expel the more abased. But honor belongs to Allah and His Messenger and the believers, but the hypocrites do not know. The verdict was delivered. The honorable one was the Prophet ﷺ. The abased one was the traitor. The Prophet ﷺ sent for the boy. Zayd walked in, shaking, afraid of the judgment, but the Prophet ﷺ reached out and gently held his ear. He smiled at the boy and said, "O Zayd, Allah has confirmed your truth from above the 7 heavens."
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
The boy was vindicated, the traitor was exposed, and Surah Al-Munafiqun turned one man's hidden hatred into a warning for every generation. For every heart that pretends to believe, for every tongue that swears while lying, for every person who thinks honor comes from tribes, wealth, position, instead of from Allah. Because in the end it was not Zayd versus Abdullah ibn Ubayy. It was hypocrisy versus revelation, and revelation always wins.